All right. So you have a great idea, like something that was like an epiphany, and you know that it's going to be awesome in class. Like a great idea that's like, at least in theory, going to be great. But then the more you think about it, although it's exciting, doubt begins to creep in, and you're not sure if it's actually a good idea, if it's worth the time and the effort you and your students are going to put into it, if it's too over the top, or if the staff is going to think that you're dumb for doing it. Slowly, you begin to just put this idea up on a shelf because maybe you'll do it one day in the future, possibly. The first problem with doubt is that it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, maybe this isn't a good idea. Maybe the students in this class this year are not going to resonate with what you're going to do. Or maybe it just won't produce the outcome that you're hoping that it will. But the other problem with doubt is that it doesn't set the stage for a fair fight. So, in the spirit of fairness, here are a few ideas that I run through whenever doubt starts to creep in to help this be more of a fair fight. First question I ask myself is, what if this was awesome? If you're gonna spend time dwelling and thinking about what if this is terrible, what if this goes completely wrong, it's at least worth considering what if this was awesome. How would your kids respond? How would it change your class? How would it change you? How would it change you view the rest of your school year and the other projects, ideas, and assignments that you do? How could this inspire the other folks that you're working with and potentially change the school's culture? Number two, what if this project isn't a success, but it leads to something equally as great, if not greater? Any number of times I've tried stuff, and in the midst of that process, I realized this was not a good idea. I thought this was going to be cool. It looked a lot better in my head. It's kind of like that show Nailed It, where they show you like a cupcake that was going to be awesome, and then what actually came out of the oven. However, in that process, you may get a new idea, a new way to start this, a new way to grade this, a new way to kind of manage students and things of that nature. But it's only through the process that you learn what you could do in the future. Number three, what's the worst that could happen if this doesn't work? Basically, I'm wondering, will you get fired or will you catch on fire? Because I realize you got kids or you got pets that, have to eat, and nobody wants to catch on fire. Short of that, what are you worried about? Looking dumb, looking silly, looking ridiculous, that your neighbors are gonna judge you, that you're gonna waste your time, or the kids are going to think that you come up with stupid ideas all the time, that you wasted a weekend or a week or a month planning for this. So then allow me to ask you this. If you are concerned about how others may view what you are about to do as foolish, if a student came to you and thought of some outside of the box idea, something that really spoke to them and that they were just nervous about what other people would say, what would your advice be to them? Worry about what other people would say? Let judgment run your life? No, our job as teachers is to help students grow into all of who they are meant to be. And you do that by trying stuff, by pushing aside other people's judgments. So who are we to give any advice like that if we're not willing to take it ourselves? We need to be the example for our students. Fourth question, how would the teacher that I want to be, that I dream of being, that I know that I was called to be, handle this situation? Maybe they'd ask advice from a trusted colleague. Maybe they'd go on a trusted Facebook group. Maybe they do a little bit more research, or maybe they just give it a shot and see what happens. When we're making those decisions from our most scared version of ourselves, it is worth the time and effort to just wonder, in the safety of your own home or in the parking lot before you walk into the school building, what would the best version of myself do in this situation? And then act accordingly. Look, gang, school sucks for a lot of kids. It's boring, it's slow, it's irrelevant. So I would argue that any attempt at making school, making learning come to life is always worth it. If confidence is what's stopping you, remember that confidence doesn't come from getting tenure or just getting older. You gain confidence from trying stuff, from failing and making mistakes, making proper adjustments, and trying again. So you have a great idea and you're not sure what to do with it, at least have the fair fight in your head of what could be horrible, but what also could be awesome. Look, I know a lot of you this year are having a hard time with classroom management, and for that reason, last year, we had a workshop series that was focused on classroom management. We've taken those recordings and we created an offer that you can find a link for in the description below. The link provides all the necessary information that you might need and links to make the purchase as well. I hope this video helped.